Hi everyone, welcome to the DMP Experience, episode 8. Today, joining us are two awesome people that I'm very happy to have on the podcast today.
Wow.
We have our awesome crew member, Ruben.
Whoa.
Hi guys, hello everyone, hello.
Dang.
Love Ruben. And today, me and Ruben are going to be interviewing the awesome, amazing Michael De La O from Tower Productions. We're very grateful to have him on.
Woo. You guys are and I know you, loving fan. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Thank you for being on.
Yeah.
It's such an honor to have you on here.
It's not.
Genuinely.
It's really not. No, this is I know that it was between me and the guy begging for money on the street, and I'm glad that I won the coin toss. Like, I'm just
without a doubt.
Excited
No, without a doubt.
No, thank you guys for inviting me.
No, of course. I'm very glad to see you again.
I'm excited to see you guys and everybody who's behind the camera.
Yeah, we have a very active audience today.
It's a very loaded crew. No, it's really impressive. I know that I've seen the reels and everything, and I think I just expect that it's you guys making it all work, and then I come and I'm like, it's a whole studio. There's a clamp up there. It's crazy.
Oh, we've had a lot of help with this whole podcast
working
thing.
on being professional.
You guys are all doing a kick-ass job. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, you have your own podcast.
I do have my own podcast.
That's awesome.
I have the Watchtower podcast, which is Tower Productions film review podcast, which we just finished doing our Oscar series, and then right now we're in the middle of doing a foreign month. So the last film we just finished was Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, and then we also have our Tower cast where we interview filmmakers and people in the film society, and we just finished an interview with John Waters, who directed Crybaby, Pink Flamingo, and Grease. So yeah, if you've seen any of those films, we talked to him. Great insight. Also, he's doing a show in Las Cruces, but we were one of 2 people to get to interview him in the region. He only does 2 interviews wherever he does his show, and we got one of them. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, and so it's going to be playing. I forgot on what day, but it's going to be playing on KTEP on Saturday for On Film.
And
you
KTEP?
On KTEP. Nice. So you can look at the archive for KTEP for the John Waters episode, and then you can also go to the Tower Productions page to see a video of us talking to him. It was just a phone call. We only had him for 20 minutes, but yeah, just really cool guy. So yeah,
that is so amazing. Yes, yeah. I love watching your guys' podcast.
Thank you.
I think it's so entertaining, honestly.
Yeah,
you guys.
I think we all have the same experience that you would be having these conversations if there wasn't a camera or anything else, right?
100%.
Yeah, regardless.
100%.
Yeah, even if it's just Ruben in a mirror, you're gonna have that.
Ruben in the mirror is having movie conversations on the daily. Yes,
he's getting his bullet points ready for.
I just like to imagine. I'd like to imagine that, Ruben goes in his room one day. He's like, "Didn't you hate that movie?" And then the mirror talks back. It's "No, it's pretty good." And then he starts arguing with himself.
Yeah.
You must do
just
that.
Just like Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Just he doesn't know. It's no one's in there. Ruben's like, "Don't worry about it. Just."
Yeah.
I gotta go talk to this Michael.
What, Michael? What recent episodes have you done that are your favorites?
Of the podcast?
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
Oh man, everyone's my favorite, but for the Watchtower, we got to do. Oh man, I'm trying to think of a good one. We used to do them at the cafe, but we did an episode of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I know it's every film student loves the film. And there's so many people that will say that it's on the pantheon of best film of all time. But what's interesting about those conversations is that it's less about the film and more about what makes something good, because we're all in this very subjective sphere of art and culture. So to say something is more good or something is less good, that's a hard conversation. And that's what I've come to really appreciate about just talking with my friends about film is you end up having this odd mix of what makes something genuinely good compared to it's a trash film, because even a trash film, somebody made that, somebody put intentionality. I was just watching,
I appreciate a trash film.
I was watching the Ed Wood with Johnny Depp, and you realize that this dude is genuinely just trying to create a vision, and even though it came out really crappy and he's gonna go down in infamy as the worst director of all time, he had vision. And I mean, that's hard to do in any artistic field. So 2001 was really fun. We did that one a while back. And then for the Tower cast, two come to mind. The first one is we got to talk to Doug Jones. If you don't know who Doug Jones is, you've obviously seen him before. He's the Fishman from Shape of Water, but he's also been in Hellboy, and he was like the Moon in the McDonald's ads in the 90s, but he's the creature guy. So any like long, lanky creature that comes out in movies, Doug Jones has played him. Like you don't know his face, but you've seen him. And talking to him, like he was even telling us, or we were telling him, he doesn't want to be recognized as a good creature actor. He's just a good actor. And he's somebody who embodies this idea of like, I'm doing the maximum that is acting by playing these roles that, sure, I need a lot of prosthetics and everything, but there's still somebody behind all that has to come to life. And he's such a sweetheart. He's an amazing human to talk to. But yeah, he's like somebody that I had an amazing experience. Everybody we've talked to has been amazing, but he was really nice. And then we got to talk to Lloyd Kaufman from Troma Films, which if none of you know that, they do all these like weird B movies, like Toxic Avenger, Poultrygeist, like just really obscure films. But the cool thing about that is that on the horizon, we're talking to Lloyd about him coming to El Paso, because we think that the community would love to learn from you and talk with you. So that conversation just ended up being wonderful. So yeah, that's on the horizon. But every episode we do of Towercast is always geared towards not only connecting with these filmmakers, but how do we bring them back into El Paso, and how do we connect them here? Like, how do we make them a part of the community here? Because there is a growing film community. It's just, it's not until you have these conversations with them that they're able to see that. Like, wow, I didn't realize El Paso loves film and loves production and all that. So
and can make cool stuff.
Yeah, and can make really cool stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that's my two favorites. So
that's
far.
Awesome.
That is really awesome. How do you get them on? The people that you interview for Towercast, because that's awesome.
So, buckle up, Jacob and kids. So, the answer, because everybody asks us, like, how do you get on all these people?
If it's networking,
we ask them politely, and apparently, it works. Like, one of the best pieces of advice we got was from the director of Rush Hour. Oh my God, what's his name?
I just watched that last week.
Yeah, well, we got to talk to him. He was one of our first big guests. And with him, he told us, like, when people are in production and they're at the bottom. Brett Ratner.
There you go.
That was one of our earliest episodes, and that was when I was still a very scared podcaster. And if you look at that episode, I probably said like one word. Even Brett was like, "Who's that little squeaky kid that's not saying anything?" And he was referring to me. I felt so seen. But when we talked to Brett Ratner, he says there's people that are at the bottom that are trying to like they just are accepting help from anybody. So they're willing to talk to you. And then there's people that are in the middle that they're chasing. All the people who are like in production right now, and they're clawing their way to get to the next level of production, and they're like fighting. They're the ones who will tell you, "Oh, I'll only talk to you if I'm getting paid," or "I'll only talk to you if like there's something in it for me." But once you get to people like Brett, who they've directed films, they've made a living, they already have their mortgage and everything paid off. They're the ones who are super excited to talk to young voices, because they don't have anything to prove anymore. They don't have anything to like say. They're just genuinely like, if I could give advice that's going to help you succeed and help the next generation, like that's what matters. And that was really inspiring, because he says the person who did that for him was Steven Spielberg, that he was going over to NYU.
Tremendous.
Nice.
And I forgot if it was NYU or BYU, but he went over there, New York region, and like one of the projects you have to do is that you have to self-finance your film. So a lot of the kids that go there, they come from rich families and they'll pay for everything. But he just like was this kid with a dream, and he started sending letters to everybody. It was like back in the 80s, 90s, sent letters to everybody saying like, I'm a young kid, I'm a filmmaker, like I just want to like make films, and this is my project, and I'm looking for any donations you can. And Brett Ratner,
Yes.
director of Rush Hour,
Yes.
sent a bunch of letters to family, people. He got 1 million no's from everybody. But then he got a phone call the phone call was from the secretary of Steven Spielberg. And he was like, oh, it's a prank. Somebody's just like, bullshitting with me because, like, why would he be calling? And then the secretary was like, no, Steven got your letter and he read it and he wants to meet you personally or talk to you. And he actually got to talk to Steven Spielberg. And his whole thing was like, I'm going to help you out. And the only reason I'm giving you help compared to everybody else is because you asked. Like that's just the plain answer that just by asking, you're going to get a million no's. But you just need that one yes. That's all that matters. So I think for his project, he gave him 8,000, and it became like really big deal because like even the dean at NYU like called up Brett Ratner and he's like, oh, so I heard that you talked to Steven Spielberg. Like, can you pass that information? And it's that as long as you're not afraid to talk to people and just ask, like the worst they can say is no. But at least you got that experience. You got whatever you need to, so that way you can keep talking. And with like the Tower Cast, that's what we've done. We've just been really kind and asked people. And, when you're honest, that's the best thing because nobody's looking at us right now and saying like, oh, are you some big time like Hollywood director? Like, why do you want to talk to me? It's like, no, we're kids from El Paso. We love filmmaking. We want to be your peers one day, and we're doing everything in our power to do that. And we just want to have a conversation to hopefully inspire more people to do that. So asking was genuinely how we've gotten so many wonderful guests, and then by asking and them saying yes, that gives us help that we say, hey, we've already talked to William H. Macy, Giancarlo Posito, like we've already talked to these people and they were kind, so we'd love to have you on and we'll give you the same respect. And I mean, that's all it really is. You don't have to, that's how you got me on. It was just like a message of like, hey, down, and then I,
down to pod.
Yeah, I was UDOP. But yeah, I think that's the best rule of thumb is that sometimes we're, especially coming from like digital media production and college, you're so nervous about being honest with anybody about like where you're at, because you don't want to have to come up to people and be like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out filmmaking and all that, and then look at you like, ew, what the hell? Like you don't already do this. Like I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but I know that when I was starting classes here, I remember being the guy in the class that we were making videos for VIA, and while making a video, it was like, oh, everybody has to do a video with your team about a certain chapter in the textbook, and I like made my little video, and I thought it was really cool, and then I saw somebody else come into the classroom, and they had like a Sony A7 something and like all the mics and gear and everything. And they said, yeah, we just finished our short film and it just like went into a festival. And I was like, well, what the hell? Like, I'm never going to be there. And then afterwards, I remember being so ashamed of like, I couldn't even practice or tell people like, want to work with me or want to help me out, because then I felt like I'm not that kid. I don't have the tools. I don't got the talent. But it's just by asking, just having honest conversations like, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. I'm not going to promise you the moon and the stars, but I'll promise you, like, if you help me, I'll give you mutual respect. Like, we'll work out it together. We'll grow together. And then that's how, like, even from there, like, I met my team, I met my peers, my people, and we've gotten so many things just by being honest and asking for it. That's the best advice you can get, especially at this stage when you're just trying to, like, get your feet in. But yeah.
Yeah, I think, honestly, right now, I do get the feeling that I'm like my level of like film knowledge and media knowledge is like lower compared to my peers, but the more people I talk to and the more friends I make, the more I realize we're all really on the same level.
Yeah.
And everyone that I've met so far has just like, we've all come up together. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel very special to have that type of experience, because everyone who is knowledgeable in one thing and not in another will kind of trade off, Like, oh, like they taught me how to do this and I taught them how to do that. And it's been really awesome so far, honestly. Yeah. So like I definitely have those feelings in myself that I'm not really there, but I think other people just
and that's okay. Like I don't ever view myself. I know it's not the same for Ruben. Ruben loves himself, and it's but
I do. Yes, I do. That's true.
I'm a god. Ruben. I look at myself every day and say I'm number one. But like, at least for me, I know that my skill levels are okay, and I'm not where I want to be finally, but it's all a journey. It's all trying to improve.
The grind.
Yeah, yes. The grind. Back at the grind. Yeah. Shout out to Raw Visuals. But like,
you just have to be honest with yourself, because that's how you're going to grow. It's like I used to not do that. I used to definitely like talk to people like, yeah, I've shot films, and yeah, I've done this, and I'm a professional photographer and all that. But then I've met people who take that to an extreme, where then when they get on set, people look at them like, this kid lies through his teeth on his resume. Like they don't know what they're doing. They look scared. Like I remember I was, I'm not going to call out any names, but I was PAing on a project, and it was for like a little like commercial video. And I knew the like above the line crew. I knew the director and all them's, the production designer, and I knew the one of the camera people. And talking to them, they were saying like, oh yeah, dude, like I'm here. And I was like, well, that's a big deal. Like I'm a production assistant, and I mean, this is recently. This is not like early on when I was doing the production work, but I was like, well, it's a big deal. Like you got there. Like I said, a goal for us in camera department is to be an AC or to be a cam op. So that must be a big deal for you. And they're like, yeah, no, I do this all the time. So, it's whatever. But then while they were doing the work, later on after they left, I talked to production. They were like, yeah, they were fine, but you could tell they're green. Like they don't know what they're doing, and they're scared. And I was like, there's a big lesson to be learned in just being humble and being honest. Because if they just said from the get-go, like, hey guys, I'm excited to be your AC. I have a lot of knowledge. It's my first time working with the system. So like once I get my feet wet, we'll be good. But as any help I can give as an assistant, like I'll be there for you. And that just being humble and being honest and would have done so much more. And I've worked with people on sets where it's like, just be honest. I'm not going to, like, no one's going to get mad at you if you don't know everything, but they're going to get mad at you if you say you know everything and then come the day of set and then you're flopping.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
And you don't need to feel bad about
you're wasting production time.
You're wasting everybody's time. And I've gotten to the point where it's not only wasting production time, it's wasting people's money.
Yes.
And that's painful. That's painful when thousands of dollars are going towards wasting somebody's time. I just like kissed this thing for some odd reason. But yeah, you gotta be okay with wherever you're at.
Yeah.
That's why I was so grateful to come here and talk with you guys, because I was also here, and it's not like I was here decades ago. I was here eons, like when I was just
it was
a
just
toddler.
last year.
Like I mean,
in the
80s. I remember Harriet Tubman and dinosaurs. It was crazy. But no, I was here a couple of years ago, and I finished my degree. And before that, I was just getting my feet ready in production. But then now, because of the people who have given me opportunity, and because of the friends I've made along the way and everything, I've grown so much. And my goal is not to be better than everybody else. My goal is that as a rising tide raises all boats. Like if I can pass the knowledge and have more people around that know what they're doing, and we're all learning together, then we're all going to be able to get on set one day and working together, and we're all knowledged and ready for the next thing, as opposed to we're all just pretending, or we're all scared because we don't know enough. We're not where we want to be yet.
Yeah.
So you've focused and emphasized being humble on production as well as pre-production and the way you handle yourself when meeting new people that you're connecting, networking with.
Absolutely. I don't think, I've been very fortunate that the past couple of films that I've worked on, I've either been the gaffer, which is I direct an entire lighting team, and Jacob worked with me recently when the last project.
That's awesome.
And he'll tell you I did a terrible job, and I yelled at him. And no, it was great, but I mean, it's taken a lot to get to that place. And I've also been a director of photography, and in both those positions, you're given a lot of responsibility and a lot of power, but you have to know how to communicate with people and work with people. And you acting like you know everything and you talking down to people is not how you get a team energized and ready to work. It's by respecting everybody where they're at, saying, I'm here as your director, but I'm also here as your peer. Like, if you have something to contribute to the conversation, let's do it. If you just being here means that we're a team. We're all working together on this. I'm as strong as my weakest link. So if I just say it's terrible. I've also worked on sets where professional sets that I was a production assistant, and the director of photography was pointing at every crew member and saying, it's your fault that my shot up. It's your fault that the lighting's messed up. It's and because of your fault,
director.
Yeah. No, but because of like you guys, my shot's gonna look bad, and I just want you to know that it's your fault. And I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna like feel good and collect my paycheck and just have that there. And it was the worst experience of seeing that, because from the El Paso crew, I worked with the gaffer and I was just a PA, but I was also gripping. I was swinging on that set. But with the El Paso crew, there's a beautiful community and collaboration where we all say like all hands on deck, like whatever anybody needs, let's all jump in. I don't care if it's not my department, like I'm gonna get ready. That to peel back the curtain, like right now on the podcast, we just had the microphone. We had the microphone have an untimely passing. RIP. If you're wondering why there's a little lump, it's because we buried it on the table. But with that, we're not gonna make the podcast better, and we're not gonna make the set better by you lackey, fix this. I'm here. I'm waiting. No, we're gonna make it better by we're all helping each other, because you're only as strong as the people around you. I'm only as I can only look pretty if it's all of you guys helping out, trying to make this work.
Yeah, and honestly, I think recently being on so many student short film projects, I think it's exactly that. Like everyone is kind of jumping around, helping out wherever we need, and we will take a minute or two to explain everything that's happening. Yeah, and I honestly can't say I've had a bad experience on this set yet, because I've always been with the same people. They've always been like my peers and students, and so I've always just felt like we are literally there to help each other. Yeah, and like sometimes our shooting days go a little longer than planned, but I think it's because we're all still figuring it out, and I feel very grateful to be able to be there and just like absorb all the knowledge that other people can share.
And if we had, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something stupid. Go ahead.
If we had, the type of people that you were surrounded with the example you just said, we wouldn't want to work with.
No,
them
genuinely.
Again,
I
so that's what's probably making you not want to work with that person again.
I don't want to throw shade to any specific crew, but I'll say that my first big production assistant job for a show, like I met the cast and the crew, and there was so many wonderful, talented people working there. But I'll say this, when you're working with your friends on these short films and projects, I think the most beautiful thing is the fact that like because we're all doing this out of the kindness of our hearts and our own passion, nobody's entitled. Nobody has the right to get mad at anybody. Like we're all working together. And again, it's on our own dime. It's not on anybody else's. The second money's introduced, and it's a good mentality to practice on before you get that big paid set, is you're wasting somebody's time, is wasting somebody's money, and when money's being wasted, they always want somebody to point the finger at. I've been on shoots where in the middle of a shoot, producers get fired, where they're just like, you're not coming back tomorrow. So get off, you're on the first flight back to Florida, and we never want to talk to you again. We're never hiring you again. And it's a really scary situation. And if you don't work on having that good mentality now and having a good work ethic, then you end up like those crews that just want to point the finger and fire people, and then you end up making like a film or a show that doesn't have any heart, because the crew was just all making something crappy and then just wanting to point the finger when it didn't feel good or look right, Yeah. I know that those jobs made me a stronger crew member, because I also had to learn how to shake off the bad days and learn how to like be resourceful and be all hands on deck when we needed it most. But I also know that it taught me a lot about respecting others. Like now when I'm full circle, like now that I'm like doing director of photography work, and hopefully soon, fingers crossed, I'll get the chance to be the director of photography on a feature film that's coming up. That's again, fingers crossed. So cool. Yeah. But I know that if I get that opportunity, I don't care if you're an assistant camera, if you're a grip, if you're a PA, everybody's going to get treated nice. Everybody's going to be talked politely to. And I don't care if it's the middle of the shooting day, if somebody's struggling, we're helping that person. We're not going to let anybody go unrecognized. We're not going to let anybody just feel like, oh, I have to be quiet because that's your position. This is my position. Like being on set, set etiquette is you don't talk to the director. You don't talk to anybody above the line. You don't talk to actors. It's understandable why, because you can't distract them, but we're all human, you know. My shit stinks. Like it just that's the way the world works. And if I get that opportunity, like, you know, that's the first thing I want to preach is that everybody takes care of everybody. Like we're all doing this out of our passion. We all love this. We want to make this be the career and the thing that we're striving towards. Don't be acting entitled all of a sudden because you're scared that your shortcomings are going to be magnified by somebody else doing a bad job.
Yeah.
And that's going to bleed out into the environment of the set having a negative and just like a really bad energy surrounded. You know, and what kind of production is that? You know, you're supposed to be a team. You're supposed to be working towards getting the shot. And if you're not communicating as well as you should be, well, you should communicate in a way that effectively like responds to everyone. And if you're doing that in a harmful or negative way, then you're gonna get negative feedback.
And isn't that crazy that we're also like in an industry that's playing make believe? You're just for 12 hours in a day, you're just telling your friends like, now pretend that he broke up with you and start crying. Like you're just we're playing pretend and we're just like having fun with our friends. And
or let's say the freelance work, like a hostile work environment, and it's like, dude, this is a Frosted Flakes commercial.
No joke. God, like I was on what is it? Like I've been on documentaries and music videos and everything in different departments, but yeah, dude, like you'll just get people where it's like, dude, it's a mayonnaise commercial. Get off it. Like, you know, it's not that deep. It's really not that deep. Like oh my God. The shoot that I was on, and I'm not gonna get names, but literally the fight between the cinematographer and the gaffer happened because they were about to do a driving shot. And not like a cool driving shot where we track the car. Literally it's camera mounted to a car pointing down looking at the road so they could have that one shot of like, and then he drove, and that was the shot. But because of that, the cinematographer was like, oh, you guys ruined it. I can't mount it to the car correctly because you didn't take precautions and look to make sure the camera rig was going to work. And the gaffer's like showing emails like, no, I emailed you. I asked you, is the rig going to work? Because this is what we have in El Paso. We're not LA. We don't have all the tools like a mile away. Like we're working what we have. And he's like, well, you should have done a better job. It's your fault. And it's like, why are you being so shitty? The shot was literally going to be pointing at the road. So you know how they fixed the shot that they were having a big tantrum about? Strap the cinematographer or the DP to the back of a minivan and then have him point down and then drive on the road. And it was like, oh, look, it fixed everything. Throw it in reverse. Now you're driving forward. Like, but because of that, this dude felt like he was entitled to like demean somebody. And it's so sad because especially like the gaffer, he's somebody I admire. He's somebody who I'm going to consider the best, not only in the region, but like in the United States when it comes to like doing that kind of work. And you can tell that there's just certain people that are like entitled. And it's like, dude, you're getting all huffy and puffy over pointing at the ground. Like, get off it. Like, you know, or like, again, we're storytellers. We're artists. I don't care what department you're in, you're contributing to a larger conversation of motion pictures and film and cinema in commercial work. I mean, it's amazing to see how innovative we can all be with these basic tools. And it's like, don't get all mad and feel entitled because of X, Y, or Z reason. Like let's appreciate the fact that at the end of the day, we're living a dream. Something like even making the short film with your friends, you're doing something that so many people wish they could be doing. Like at the bare minimum, how many people in the world in El Paso would give anything just to say I was on set with my friends shooting a short film? And we have that opportunity. Don't be getting pissy. You're except Jacob. He's I'm picking on Jacob, but no. I just say that because Jacob, I think, is a good example of he'll jump on any set and is doing work with me, and I've kept calling him back because has also adopted the mentality of like, we're jumping in however we can help. He's a very talented writer and director, and I know a lot of you guys are talented writer, directors, cinematographers, and everything. But I tell him like, hey, I need help gripping. I know that that's not the dream to be carrying a stand and pinching your fingers, but that's what we're doing today. And again, it's like, no, whatever we need to do to get this job done, let's do it. Let's work together. Let's have a good time, couple of laughs.
Yeah, that's
Speedy's
exactly
Pizza.
why. Yeah, I love Jacob. I think genuinely he's one of my favorite people to have on a set.
Yeah.
And I think most of the sets I've been on, Jacob's been there. And I think, like, if he's not around, I definitely notice it.
Yeah.
You know, Jacob is just one of those people
that's
where,
nice.
like,
everybody point at Jacob and, like,
yeah.
clap for him. Yay. Aww. Yeah,
no,
you
really,
are.
You're a great person.
jerk.
And, like, truly on set, like, it's different. Like,
By the way,
your
I would give the
presence
same
is
love
there.
to Ethan, too, but he's not here.
Yes.
Thanks,
same thing
Ethan.
for Ethan.
Thanks for wasting my time. No, but a lot of
He's
you
a
guys.
busy
A
guy.
lot of you guys are very talented, and I know that with most of us, we're just waiting for that one yes. We're waiting for that one person to say, yes, I want you to be my director. I want you to be my cinematographer, editor. We're just waiting for that one yes, and it's hard to feel respected, especially when you go from studying at UTEP to the professional production world.
Mm-hmm.
But just know that not everybody in the world is trying to hold you down. There are a lot of people that want to support you, and you'll find the right community. I think there's something really special happening here. So that's why, wherever I can contribute to this, I try to, because we're nothing without each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Truly.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And is that the attitude of your partner in crime over there at Tower? You are the vice president of production, correct?
Yeah, I'm the vice president of production. The owners are Carlos De La Torre, Austin Young, and Eric Sanchez. They're the ones who founded Tower, and then we have a brain trust, which includes like Ricky Rodriguez, Michael Head, Jesse Friday. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his last name, and Daniel Herrera. And those guys have all been working together to make films, work on projects, work on getting to the next step in our evolution, which is getting a paid narrative work done. That's where we're constantly pitching. We're constantly trying to get our features produced, our series produced. We have so many like features and series that are in backlog, but we've been fortunate enough to network with the right people. Again, just by asking and sitting down with them, and they're the ones who were supporting us to get to the next level, but it all started with just a bunch of friends getting together and saying like, hey dude, I got a story. Like, I know you want to shoot something. I know he wants to edit. Like, I know you want to produce. Let's just use what our passions are and work together.
Yeah, let's make it happen, Cam.
Yeah.
Okay. And how does being based in El Paso shape the kind of productions you guys do?
Yeah.
I think we all know this. El Paso doesn't have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like when your mom says, like, it's okay, we have Taylor Swift at home, and then she gives you the Spotify login, and you're just like, that doesn't count. I want to go see her. But in El Paso, I know we don't have everything, but I think the beautiful thing is that we're resourceful, and by me not having everything, I was able to work on my technique. I never became overly privileged to the point where I was like, oh, I can get every single tool at my disposal. So you have to learn how to make everything work. It doesn't matter what you have around you, you just make it work. I also think that El Paso has a lot of love and a lot of cariño in the culture, that making your films here feels like your family was working with you. And I've worked on other sets, and I've been I was on a shoot. What is it called? It's called Lioness. It premiered on Paramount Network. Yeah,
it's on the list for me.
Yeah. I was a production assistant on that. I was in Van Horn for a week, and on that one, it's gigantic. Like it's really big.
Did you see Zoe?
Huh?
Did you see Zoe?
I did. I saw a lot of the male cast. The scene was that they were doing a like takedown of like the fugitive in one of the cars, and he's driving down the highway crossing through Texas, and there was like the cops holding the fugitive and other fugitives trying to break him out, and they were doing that scene. I was also on the PTA shoot, which I guess I'll start on. Yeah, there's a lot of conversations, but at least on the Van Horn one, it's so big and it's immense, and you would think like I've hit the pinnacle as far as being a production assistant and seeing what a big like set feels like. But it also can be very disjointing. You don't feel like you're connected to the final project. You don't feel like you're really connected to everything. I mean, literally, I remember one day on set, they said, hey, we're going to have cop cars racing down the street and talent's coming out, and they're going to be like, you shoot everything scene for scene. So it's like the shot is a wide of cop cars racing down, and the next cars go and they start chasing them. So your job as a production assistant is lock down this area. Nobody can cross through. Walkie us if there's a bogey. Like, just let us know. So it's 6 a.m., 30-degree weather, standing on a corner, freezing, and you're getting paid for it. And you just stand there and you're like, they'll do 12 takes, and you're just like, am I filmmaking now? Is this what it is? Yeah. And I remember it being a great opportunity, but not feeling like I was connected to the story compared to like here in El Paso, like especially like when I've jumped onto smaller sets and all that, you're so connected. You're so like, I'm in it. Like whatever you're doing, you're like, I did that. Like I was part of it. Even as a production assistant, you're like, I'm contributing to the story, whatever that might be. And there is something special about the El Paso like mentality when it comes to film, because even like when PTA came down, and we can't say every story yet, but there's a lot of stories. I can say it off camera, but like when he came, talking to his crew, they all said there's something really special about El Paso. It's just you feel this family and unity, and when you're here, everybody's just wants to bring you in open arms. They're like, whatever we can give you to help make things work. Even them talking to businesses, like the difference between coming to El Paso compared to like California, everything's like, oh, okay, we already know the rate recharge. Like that's the rate. If you want to shut down, we're going to work around these hours and you got to deal with it. Like that's it. Come to El Paso and they're like, yeah, no, let's do that. We'll block out this section for you. Let us know whatever you need. Aww. Oh, does your crew need to use a restroom? And I remember going into, I think it was, Star Western Wear, and they were like, yeah, you can use a restroom over there and you guys are fine and all that. Like, everybody here in El Paso is just a sweetheart and wants to like support even a big film. Like we don't understand it all, and there's a lot of moving parts, but everybody who came to El Paso, they like loved it. That's why like you saw PTA and his whole crew go to a Chihuahuas game. They just like loved the fact that the community just wanted to embrace them and all that. And that's special about El Paso film. Like the fact that there really is a family feel to it. You don't feel like you're making films with like, again, like I'm the second assistant camera and I'm working with this DP and all that. You feel like, oh no, that's like my buddy Tim and my buddy Alan and all that kind of stuff. It's so connected, and it starts on the small scale, but going to the PTA set, I could see that it blossoms. Like something about El Paso film just really feels like a community effort. So yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really
Cheese.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheese and rice.
Cheese and rice.
And when you were in Van Horn, did they ever like discuss anything having to do with like the environmental like services like department around there?
Well, like way?
Do you know? Well, what I wanted to get to you, what I wanted to ask you was like, this has a lot to do with trash. Do you like musicals?
Yeah.
Like, okay. I just wanted to ask you what
I really quick. I want to like understand.
You guys heard that, right?
Yeah.
What?
Do you like trash?
Did I say so?
Do you like musicals? Like, no, I felt like it went from Van Horn trash musical.
I'm going to show you the clip of what he said last semester.
Really?
That has literally, it's never left my brain. And
wow.
he yeah.
I just wanted to know that I had a brother in arms. Do you like, so you do like them?
You know, you could be talking about musicals or aliens right now. I can't tell which one.
Musicals.
Musicals, okay. I love them.
Okay. Okay.
I do. I do. Then. I could have an extensive conversation about musicals.
Well, I'm pretty sure you were very excited talking to Mr. Waters about Grease.
Oh yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
Grease is, I'll tolerate Grease. Very much.
Oh my god.
Hey man,
Grease is one of my favorites.
What?
Like genuinely one of my favorites.
love
Why'd
a
you
man.
bring this topic up, man?
I had to bring
all
it up with
you.
him. I had to.
Love a man who practices tolerance. God,
Yeah.
jeez. You know, that's how we ended racism. It's crazy. Hey, with tolerance. I love musicals.
Okay.
In fact, one of the projects that I'm slated to DP is a musical feature.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
You gonna
haven't
sleep a lot on that film?
we haven't said too much about it yet, but it's very much the great Carlos
I
M.
know.
de la Torre is a musical lover, because that whole genre, if you, for people who don't respect musicals, why do I feel like that's
You literally
everybody?
need to look at Ruben when you say this.
All me.
It's this guy.
Yeah. I like straight guy things. No, I drink beer.
Yes.
Well,
That's so rude. That's so you.
okay. Small detour. I'm gonna be a justice for musicals, and if you get Carlos on here, he'll punch you in the face. But so what is the point of films? Don't answer that. I'll give you the correct answer.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. What do you think the point of films is? Like why make a movie, like a coming of age movie, if I could just tell you, like, oh man, I asked out Stephanie and she said no, and then I sneezed on her and it was really weird. Like why make a film about that?
You're trying to show people a story about a coming of age that maybe you might have experienced.
Mhm.
So the best way to do that without, just a camera or just audio recording equipment is through film.
Yeah.
And film has become a very amazing storytelling machine. So I think that's why people create these movies, is to tell stories to people.
Remember that every single artistic medium, the reason nothing's died, the reason painting still exists, photography exists, everything, at some point in time, it was considered that, like, it was only there to serve a specific need. Back in the days of, like, Goya and a lot of, like, early painters, they painted portraits because at the time, if you needed to recognize a king and you need to recognize royalty, or who do you respect, painters were the ones who were able to give you a picture that could be mass produced, so that way the world could see who your leader is, because you don't got television, you don't got anything else. All you have is these paintings that represent them. That's why the paintings would be in every house, to see who you look up to. When they invented photography in the late 1800s, people believed that photography was going to kill painting, because now we don't have to take a picture, like, we don't have to paint a very realistic image of, like, this person. We could take a photo, and there's nothing more real than the photo.
Yeah.
And like, the same thing happened with the newspaper. We take it for granted, but there was a time when the print came out, people believed this is the death of socialization. This whole idea of having a community and a network of people, like a community, it was going to kill the church. It was going to kill everything, because now, instead of talking to people, you just read about it. And they thought newspapers were going to be the death of, like, conversation, and the same arguments we have today with social media. But going back to, like, painting and photography, as photography improved and we could just get a more realistic depiction of, like, form and life itself, painting decided, like, there's got to be utility. And then that's when you started getting people that did abstractions. That's when you started getting pointillism, that the point of paintings was not to get closer to realism, because now that can be done. The point of paintings is to express emotion that otherwise couldn't be expressed in the static form. The same thing goes with now moving on to, like, novels. Novels are able to give you a way of telling a story, but now I'm able to peer into the mentality, something that I could never unlock before, but the minds of the people telling the story. The stage gave way, that as we saw people perform, now it's not just a story, it's not just something you hear from your parents, you're seeing it. It's happening in front of you. If that person gets stabbed, sure, it's fake, but you see them responding and reacting. There's something really magical about watching a stage play coming forward into film. Film needs to be made where only that story can be told through film, and only the emotions and feelings can only be expressed through the cinema. The close-ups, the push-ins, the Zolly shots, the split diopter shots, things that you would never see in your normal everyday sphere, are heightening emotions that a filmmaker wants to tell you in story. Why did I just give you a motivational speech about the newspaper?
Well, I remember.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you were talking about. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm almost there.
Yeah. I was like,
I
wait,
just
is this
heard
something about like trash? And,
No. So in this, the point of film is to heighten emotions that couldn't be otherwise heightened in any other art form. The things I'm trying to convey in film can only be conveyed there. Musicals are able to heighten emotions that otherwise cannot be heightened. I can tell you, I'm feeling sad, and I can cry in front of you. That does something. But music, the combination of lyricism, free body expression, combined with what is it called, like the poetry and instruments that combine that emotion. Now it's not just sadness; it's sorrow. It's this deep, lingering feeling that never is able to leave you. Because a lot of times when we feel sad, it's not just sad. It's like that's why art was made, is to explain like, how do I express to people, like, I'm not just sad, I'm depressed. I feel a cosmic woe. I don't know how to get past this. The reason you hate musicals, and the reason a lot of people hate musicals, is because we've seen them express things that are mushy and gushy, like, oh, I'm in love, and not like, I'm not just in love, I'm like infatuated, and oh my God, is that a rose? Oh, it reminds me of him, and he's so cute, and look at his butt, and it's a whole thing. But there's musicals like The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is a French musical, Francois Truffaut, and I'm probably getting that wrong. No, it's not. Who is it?
right now,
Fact check.
Is it Jacques Demy?
or Jean-Claude Van
Diesel? Jacques Demy's Umbrellas of Cherbourg is an opera. It takes it a step further, meaning it's not just song and then people talking. The entire film's sung. Yeah,
Whoa.
that's right, buddy.
Whoa.
You're not getting a break from any of it.
Whoa.
And when you watch it, you're going to think like, oh, man,
Yeah.
are they just constantly singing about their feelings and everything? But no.
Hold my eyes open.
Yeah. No, that, so the musical is about, it starts off, these two people fall in love, but over in, I think it's France or Italy, you have to do a mandatory like 4 years of service in the military. So, you know, it doesn't matter where you're at in life, you got to go off. So these two young kids in love, like, you know, come and they talk about how much they're in love with each other. And then they go on a date and the date goes great. And they say, hey, I just want you to know that if I don't stick around, beautiful. This is sponsored by the DMP Experience.
Continue, sorry.
If you would like a DMP Experience mug, don't we all?
Coming soon.
Lovely. But in that, they talk about how much they're in love and how great everything is. And then he goes off to war. And with her, she sits around being depressed that, again, like the person she thought she was going to marry and all that leaves. And thinks like, hey, he might never come back. And what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to wait for him? And then plus, because he's off in the military, she doesn't get letters from him. It feels like he disappears. And like, honestly, think about like being in a relationship with somebody who's absent for 4 years. How long can love really last? It's hard. And that's the honest truth. We can tell ourselves we love somebody endlessly, but if we don't see them at least like once a week, once a month, it fades and it dwindles. And it's a musical talking about that. The falling of love and how easily it can leave just as easy as it started. It's a flame that burns bright, but it also...
I'm going to catch up on, you know, like the more, you know, like the more important movies, and then I'll catch up on my sleep. Give me some musicals that I should watch when I'm fully rested and like...
Fully rested. Let's give, I'll give you three. I'll give you three.
Well, you just said the falling, right? Or
yeah. Very quick, rapid fire. Watch Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Get to some Tower Prod questions.
Yeah, man. Right on. Do Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Do La La Land. Understand a musical that doesn't require lyricism. and do and this is homework for all of you. Watch Emilia Perez. Get over it. It's like I'm not gonna accept one more person who says it sucks. It's ass. It's not real. Like, no, you that movie, I'm not gonna justify it. I'm not saying it's the best film ever, but what musical is going to tackle the concept of a person not just transitioning, but leaving their identity? Can anybody fully ever really change? Like, sure, we all talk about leaving our old selves behind, but can anybody really change? And that's what it's a musical about. That's a very powerful topic, and a lot of people give it slack, and nobody watches it, and I can't talk about it with anybody.
I watched it.
You watched it?
Yes, I did. I fully watched the whole thing.
You're my new best friend.
Yay!
Suck it. Literally sobbing. Yeah, I'm sorry that we got on a whole tangent. What else? Yeah.
One of the last questions I want to ask you is, you and your production company, if you could pitch, you say you guys are constantly working on trying to get funding, and so you do things like pitching. If you could pitch a dream project that showcases El Paso to the world, which one would it be?
Oh man, I can't talk about the details, but every project that we're doing, except for one specifically, just because it revolves around a different city, but we want to shoot parts of it in El Paso. Everything we're doing is in El Paso, and when we pitch, it's a hard sell, but we do tell every studio we want this to be made in El Paso. And then they're like, but you could do this anywhere. You could do this on soundstage. And it's like, no. You don't understand. It's not this is a Latino story and all that. It's so hard because you have to play that card sometimes being we're Latino filmmakers, but really we're just filmmakers who have a good story and we love this community. So everything revolves around it. There's one that I can't talk about because it's not my project, but I'm closely involved. That revolves around a landmark here in El Paso, and the script goes by the same name, but it's a feature where it's going to be a musical revolving around that landmark. But again, the musical genre is to heighten all the elements of El Paso, all the cariño that goes into the community, all the cariño that goes into the place. Yeah, and it's about people coming into the city and wanting to find success, and they weren't able to find it elsewhere, but when they come here, there's a spark, and it's that El Paso spark. So yeah, it's all of our projects, the goal is to make them here in El Paso. Sure, we're talented, and even myself, I've had the opportunity to travel elsewhere and try to get more involved in New Mexico filming and deeper into Texas, but Tower Productions, look at our logo, we even have the El Paso Star. We're committed to trying to make good stories, good films in El Paso.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hearing and seeing you guys do that is super motivational and super inspirational to us that are trying to get where you guys are. Yeah. And we know that we're going to get there eventually, but hearing you talk about your experiences and the work that you put in with Tower Prod, it's awesome to hear, and it gives us hope that the work we're doing is and will not go for nothing. It's going to count, and it's going to get us someday in our fields to a point where we're going to be glad that we went through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't ever feel like you can't be all that you can be, if you stay in El Paso and all that. I definitely think, again, I've done shoots in Van Horn. I've done shoots in, New Mexico, Silver City and all that kind of stuff, commercials, music videos, everything. And I've been around, but, I think all of us, at the end of the day, you need an anchor. You need something that you can come home to, because that's where authenticity comes from. Authenticity is not going to come from just jumping everywhere. It comes from you have your home, but then you need to go elsewhere to learn how people are able to do what you want to do just better. You learn from other people's success, so that way you can bring it back to where it matters,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you think you're more trying to help the community from El Paso or bring more people in?
I'm helping the community from El Paso. People are going to come when they see that there's talented crew here, there's talented stories here. If we build our little star, right, and make it shine bright, all that's going to do is attract more people to come in. You know, it also helps to destroy stigma. Like for the longest time, like a lot of the projects I've worked on is documentaries about crime on the borderland. Like I've been to the border crossing so many times with documentary crews, and it's like, okay, we get it. And if that's what you're highlighting in El Paso, fine. But I was also on like the Helen Hunt thing that came through with the BBC, and when they came down, it was to highlight that there's culture and there's food and there's music and community. And then coming with like PTA looked at the city and he didn't see, oh, it's Latinos and crime. He saw, no, it's a special city that anybody could get lost in, but people can also find homes in. And there's something really special. Like I'm so excited to watch his latest film because he saw that. He saw that El Paso is way more than just a stigma. It's way more than just a little Mexican border crossing. Like it just, we have art, we have culture, you know, there's everything that can be built here. So it's about strengthening us, you know, it's about getting our community, our film crews better. So that way, when come the day another feature film comes to El Paso and the film commission's asking like, oh, well, can it be shot here? It's like, I can give you 50 crew members that are ready to jump on board tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why we're also pushing for legislatively, like Texas is going to improve the film commission funds and all that, because that'll all trickle our way. But, you know, it's a slow process, but you got to put faith into it. It's like watering a flower. It might lose a leaf every now and then, but if you put the right amount of energy, it'll get where it needs to be, you know?
Yeah.
That's great.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
I made myself cry.
Yeah. I mean, both of you guys are from El Paso.
Yeah.
You grew up. Yeah.
Oh, not just both of us, the whole team. It's a whole like 8 of us or 9 of us. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, everybody's from El Paso. Everybody's worked here. The only one that I don't think was here originally is Michael Head, but he was from the Dallas area. But he came down here, and when he came down here, because I think his wife had connections here, fell in love with the community, fell in love with the people, and he is following the vision of making films in El Paso. And I've met a lot of people who, like, even 2 guys. Shout out to Eric and Danny Nunez, that they were working in New York and LA, but they came back to their hometown of El Paso because they found passion here, and they found something really special here. So now they're making their films here, and I know that they might go off again later on in the future back to, like, Eric's doing a job in LA right now as a second assistant director, but he still comes back here because it's his home. This is the grounding spot.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
And, like, you know, enough about me, because the show's not about me. I know I got to go more into the DMP Experience podcast. Where do you guys see yourself? What's the goal down the line? Because we all have dreams and we all want to support it, but where do you see yourself? Do you see what department or what's next? It's your turn.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, you want to go over? I see myself just like still in the grind of trying to make stuff. I see myself having more production equipment, which gives me freedom to make more stuff. Which
Kaka, equipment doesn't matter, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but it also gives me resources. Equipment also gives me the resource and the capability to freelance, which also helps me practice with that equipment. I don't see myself like being a master of all trades in all areas of filmmaking. So I do want to focus a little bit more on directing, but I do want to know how to operate a camera, how to operate a recorder, so that's what I'm doing now. What I've been doing with this club and our, all the productions that we've been putting on is getting experience in anything and everything. And
that's what
I've
you should
loved
do.
it. Yeah. I've loved it. So where I see myself is a little bit more advanced in all of those skills, but still hopefully at a place where I'm making or helping people make productions.
Especially while you're doing DMP, definitely try everything. That's the number one thing, is that know enough of everything, just enough to be dangerous. And then I'd say afterwards, really hone in on your own, like, talents or skills or the thing you want to do, because it's so easy to still do everything, and there's job market wise, like if you peel back the curtain a little bit, like there's a lot of jobs for like videographers. But if you look at videographers, because they have to do everything, they never really find themselves in a niche. And that's okay. That's one career path. But if you want to be a filmmaker, there's a certain point in time. I found it early on, but that you'll break away and you'll be like, this is what I should be doing. And if you're a writer director, jump on sets, be a production assistant, figure out the way people are doing it professionally, but always have that kind of like rope that's going to bring you back to what you need to be doing.
I gotta say, I haven't been on a set without Ruben. Ruben has been on every single set that I've ever been on. He's been on more sets than me for sure, but every set I've been on, Ruben's there.
Yeah,
So-
I'm
He's
in
like
it.
the mascot of film production.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the amount of cameos that this man has done is
I-
actually pretty cool.
I have done some recent cameos. Yeah.
They're
That's badass,
awesome.
man.
Yes. Yes. I am getting used to doing different stuff, and the cameos was definitely an opportunity to do background work. And
That's badass.
yeah, I definitely want to help these guys out and with anything they need. And when it comes to background, it's like, all right, yeah, of course. Like, of course I'm down. Get me in there.
I'll never say no.
Yeah. Like I think
Stanley.
the next thing I want to do, and I was like talking to Danny Nunez recently. I've dabbled in a little bit of everything, but I'm ready to act. I'm ready to get in front of the camera. Like I always thought I had a face built for camera. I found out that that's true, but sometimes we need people that look like this in front of places. So yeah, that's awesome, man. I feel like jumping around into different things obviously helps you grow. What about you, Anya? What's next? What are you gonna be?
I don't know.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh.
Wanna be a donut?
I want to say role-wise, I really, really had a great time being AD. I think.
We need more ADs, and I'll say we need more female ADs.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, Ruben.
That's okay. That's okay.
Get the fuck out, you know.
That's okay, as long as they're not with, we're not working.
As long as they're not whiny women, huh?
No.
Is that what you want to say?
I was gonna say as long as they're not
You
musical.
sexist.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're going to make a musical just for you, Ruben. We're going to call it the Ruben musical.
Oh
it's
my
gonna be
goodness.
about a guy who hates musicals.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be terrible.
Any final thoughts to wrap up this beautiful conversation?
I am so grateful that you were able to come on today.
Thank you.
This has been a wonderful conversation. I feel like I've already learned so much just
I
Just
doubt
being
it.
here. Yeah,
The way you were able to explain to us, the way you guys balance budget, creativity with having challenges presented to you, and tackling them in unique ways, and having a structured production company. Hearing that has just been super awesome, and it makes me realize that the future of productions in El Paso is in good hands, and
Absolutely.
the fact that you want to help people already here means the world.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Thank you
Yes.
for
Appreciate
doing
you
your work
guys.
that you do, and we can't wait to have you and your crew again.
Yeah,
Yes,
man. And I'll,
genuinely.
like the last kind of little note I'll give, the biggest lesson I've learned is not from filmmaking is not getting better at pieces of equipment and getting better at like terminology and all that. That's very important, but it all comes in its time. You don't need to know what a cardellini is if you have no use for it yet. Yeah, what's a cardellini, huh? No, exactly. But when the day comes that you need one, then you'll need to know what it is, and that's okay. But a big chunk of what you're working on here at UTEP in DMP is you're working on building a team of people that are like-minded and believe in the same goal, and you're also working on the correct mentality to have. Because once you go on sets, then it's technical. Then it's getting all the little knowledge, and if you're passionate about it, you'll pick it up. Like I learned so much from to be a director of photography by going on shoots and asking questions like, how do you do this? How do you wrap that? How do you use this piece of equipment? And I would do a lot of my own research, but I also asked a lot of questions. And you get there, but you're building your mentality here and you're building your network here. So don't take that for granted, and don't feel like oh, I just need to focus on like, again, get the pieces of equipment so you can build your career, but don't feel like that's everything. Like focus on the people, focus on the projects, focus on the stories, and over time you'll get there. You'll get all the little things that you need to get so you can be whatever that is on the technical sphere. So, but thank you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you
this
so much,
is amazing.
Michael.
So lovely.
And DMPA is here for any extra hands you may ever need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to bring you all on. It'll be a field trip.
Yay!
Gwen will be there, and Gwen will be there, and Gwen will be there.
There you go. All the Gwens.
All 6 Gwen.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, Michael. Thank you, Ruben, for being a
course.
co-host with
Thank
me.
you. Thank
This
you.
has
Thank
been
you,
such an amazing episode. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Please tune in for our next episode. Releases Monday on YouTube. Look out for the clips on Instagram. And again, if you guys have any topics, please drop them in the comments. And they'll go on the list, guys. We want any ideas, all ideas. Just put them in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yay.